Good afternoon, folks. While we have been reviewing well-known automotive brands over the last 2 years, the dark horse LeapMotor has surpassed all premium brands in sales. Now sitting at 11th place, it only falls behind Huawei at this moment. This surge is due to some very effective strategies they implemented. I want to share with you the new version they introduced a couple of days ago, which I find to be the most charming crossover in their range. Please get comfortable. Today, we will review the new LeapMotor C11. A brief digression. I think it is important to mention this information. LeapMotor now belongs to Stellantis outside of China. Stellantis owns 51% of this company. Within China, LeapMotor is its own boss. I believe they own 70%, while Stellantis owns 30%. Here, I will write down which brands belong to this corporation for those who do not know. Let's move on. It has autopilot, automatic parking, a built-in video recorder, LiDAR, and fancy headlights. The basic version comes with roof rails as standard. 3. There are 6. 2 at the back, 1 here. It has 10 cameras all around. There's a hybrid version and a pure electric one. This specific model is electric and has an 82 kilowatt-hour battery. The hybrid version has a 41 kilowatts battery. For the hybrid, there's a 42-liter tank on the left. I believe the key selling point of this car is its cost. Originally being a premium brand, looking at the price war, they somehow managed to reduce its cost significantly, which led to increased sales. We will now figure out where and what, examine in detail where the problem lies, but the prices are as follows. For the top-of-the-range hybrid, $21,000. For the top-of-the-range electric, $23,000. What do you think of the prices? In the front, there's massage ventilation heating and heated steering wheel. In the back, only ventilation and heating. Where I run my finger, where the perforation is, that's genuine Nappa leather. Everything else is Nappa artificial leather. The headrest is leatherette Nappa, and both the front and back feature frameless doors. I'm curious about the soundproofing since I was assured that it would be unusually silent for this cost. It's fascinating, and we'll test it. Soft closers? No, unfortunately not. The ambient lighting looks quite bold, but in reality, the lamp isn't that big. It's just reflecting, you see? It has double glazing, and this dark section is microfiber. The plastic mimics wood, and there are 21 speakers made by themselves. The center is Nappa leatherette, is quite smooth but runs out fast. Everything below is just bare plastic, also inside. This button opens the door. There is an emergency lever inside. To my taste, this is the first appealing LeapMotor on the inside among the whole range. It's minimalistic, neat, and pleasing to the eye. Now let's check it all for squeaks. I don't know how to get away from this scene anymore, I'm just tired of it. I already understand that the Chinese have better assembly than everyone else, but if I don't do it, everyone starts commenting, "Yeah, you didn't check on purpose." Sorry, I sometimes forget, but not today. That's fine. There's something like, well, here it is. A stone here.
Hoppa.
Well, it went away, but it was there. It was. There's a bit here, but it also went away. There's a niche at the bottom with a rubber mat, and as you can see, there are 3 perfumes over there. For the passenger on the right, they provided an ottoman. But the seat lacks 0 gravity. which is bad. It's a pity. The screen is 17 inches. It's 4G, not 5G. They saved money on that, but the screen is fantastic. For this money, it's amazing. Just look. Everything works quickly. You can even play with the car. No lag at all. It's smooth. Look how great everything is. Well, this is good. For this price, this screen is awesome. It has 2.8K resolution. In terms of image quality, it's not the best, but it's near the top. It resembles all the others. It's similar to Huawei. Everything is user-friendly. With images and widgets, here you can click on something. For this price, the screen impresses me. The dashboard screen shows exactly the same quality picture as here, close to the top. Not the best, but close. The steering wheel is two-colored, thick grip, Nappa leather outside, faux leather inside. Here, yes, these are physical buttons, and when pressed, the entire thing is pressed down. Height and reach adjustment is done by hand only. The knobs, it's clear how they work. This is for adjusting the volume, sound, music. And what is this? This is most likely autopilot. Here is music and volume. And look at the other buttons here. Here is the central lock, open, close. Below is a button that opens 360 cameras. I'll show you later how it looks on the road. It's not clear here. I also have a menu with various items. Information and voice assistant. Camera quality. Below average. However, they retained all the features and it runs smoothly. Check out the 3D. You can rotate it. Also, take a look here. Side camera. You can switch between cameras in this way. Not only that, you can switch to the wheels when you park. I'm interested to know if there are centimeters, distance to the object. So, what about the centimeters? The distance should be here. Will there be centimeters? Look, I'm driving back and I have the image on the projector now. Information from the rear camera. You see acid colors, but I see a clear picture. When you reverse, the camera is displayed in the projector and on the screen. This is how the key card looks. There are two spots for the phone. On the left, there's wireless charging with ventilation. They don't specify how many watts. On the right, it's just a place to put the phone. Neither Alcantara nor faux leather, just some kind of fabric. Well, it's good that it's not bare plastic. Two cup holders, plastic that resembles wood. That's all, nothing more. Everything else is on the tablet. Down here it's plastic, but it's smooth, not rough. At least that's something to be thankful for. They left the glove box uncovered. Let's check this out. It's wrapped in fabric, it's big, and there's a charging port. Look, the pillar in the middle is black, it's bare plastic. Regular fabric, nothing special. Here we have an ordinary mirror, two speakers. Light bulbs are physical buttons, physical hazard lights, and as you can see here, there are two more buttons. Here is a sunroof all the way across the roof, with a sunshade that completely covers it. But again, they saved on the motor for the sunshade. It just closes slowly. Well, it's a bit tricky. Do I need the shade to close faster? No, I don't. If they're saving a little bit on insignificant elements like this, then that's smart. I'm opening it. You see how slowly, but there's a sunshade for this price, with a large sunroof. The second button is physical and multifunctional. You can bind something to it in the settings. By the way, you can make it so that the chair on the right folds and unfolds immediately. Well, there are different options there. It's quite interesting. This is how we change the information on the dashboard screen. By the way, there's a map. Did you see? There's a piece of it. And there is a projector on the windshield. You can open the map. A full-fledged projector, stylish and new. 187 centimeters tall. I sit straight and I have 3 fingers in front of my knee. If I recline, then it's 1.5. Well, let's go back in this position. What do you think? for a vehicle of this size. Interesting. Let's check the trunk. The button is located here. 410 liters. There's a light on the left. Did you see? On the right, there's a cigarette lighter. It's interesting. Oh, look at this. Just a huge niche. And there's even a button and handle up here. Backrest at maximum? Yes. I like the backrest angle. I could travel far. And what's here? Well, it seems to be solid. The material here is the same as on... A little on the dashboard and on the door cards. Cool. The rear door card, just like the front. They didn't skimp. It's plastic that mimics wood. And it's very smooth faux leather. Very smooth. The seat materials are great. It's surprising for this price to have seats made of genuine leather. Again, you only see that where there's perforation. All the rest is artificial leather, but it's nice as well. It's also Napa. It is surprising. A small screen for rear passengers. Here I have ventilation and heating, climate control, air, charging ports, and a small box. There is no fabric inside, just bare plastic. To exit as well as from the front, I need to press the button, or there's an emergency lever here if it doesn't function. One pane glass. I'm curious about its sound insulation. Let's drive and check. In terms of finishing materials, of course, the Chinese have pulled far ahead. They have pulled far ahead. These are top-notch wheels, 20 inches, 255 by 45. You can see they painted the caliper. I don't understand why it's light green. It looks tacky to me. They have disc brakes that are ventilated all around. Ground clearance is 18 centimeters. So what was the successful solution? They pretended to be participating in a price war, but in reality, they simply reduced the price of their cars very cleverly. First, they ensured decent sound insulation. It's actually good sound insulation. For this price, I'd say it's outstanding. I'll demonstrate now. By the way, did you notice? The very first Chinese cars, which were a few years ago, the first models of every brand, well, except for LeapMotor, it was quiet right from the start, relatively quiet. They were all noisy. Everyone was noisy. They decided to copy Tesla. And once Tesla was forgiven for this, why should we spend money on it? Which greatly complicates and increases the cost of the process. There is excess weight, and all this affects braking, range, acceleration, and it is simply cheaper to manufacture. And now I see that the Chinese have become quieter. In general, you get into this car and realize that it's kind of like being in the same premium vehicle, but for some very surprising money. Look, they removed the air suspension. Now there is a double wishbone with adaptive shock absorbers, double wishbones at the front, and a multi-link at the rear. For this price, it has a very good suspension. The Germans only offer this in the E-Class, and in the C and D classes, it's mostly McPherson. The Japanese, even in the E-Class, drive on McPherson. And here for this price, you get this suspension, and it is rightly called the LeapMotor with the two-wheel drive. It drives very similarly to the Li 6. Perhaps the LeapMotor is a little bit softer, and here, the handling is a little bit sharper. They made it a bit tighter. Well, that's just how they see their brand. A very pleasant suspension for the city, and as it turned out, the Chinese don't need air suspension at this price. Why would they need to raise the clearance in the city? It's already adequate here. That's how it is. It's clever, and it works. Look next. They switched to a two-wheel drive 270 horsepower electric motor in the rear and a 1.5 internal combustion engine without a turbine. That is, there is no official information about its power, but it will definitely be less than that of its competitors. That is, probably around 120 or even 100 horsepower. Highway. It will definitely maintain 120 and will not drain the battery. With such sound insulation and 270 horsepower, it accelerates to 100 in 6.1 seconds. 6.1 seconds is indeed a bit weak, but it's electric acceleration. I always remember how much it costs, and I'm very pleased to drive it for that price. What I don't like about it is that the seat can't be raised a little. Well, they removed that feature. They made it cheaper, but I think it's essential. I slide down when I brake hard. I just checked it. I slide down. There are no questions about the brakes. Recuperation is average, not weak or strong. I need more side support in the seat. Clearly, it can't be adjusted, but again, the price, and it feels lacking. I think it needed just a bit more. They should have made it possible to adjust the seat, and I would say that it's just perfect. Sales would probably have been higher. They are still feeling their way, but they haven't got the hang of it yet. When a person sits behind the wheel, they immediately assess how they will feel. You all know this. You come for test drives and just sit in the car before the test. And you understand how you will sit in this car. If your first impression of the seat didn't impress you, then you understand that a test drive might change something, but it has already made an impact. In general, maybe I'm just being picky, and I need this, but maybe others don't. However, it seems to me that they should. They should consider it. They should add these points. Why I else call this car pleasant, especially for this price. The steering reads the road well, so they didn't cheap out here. So it is, well, it is very similar to European cars, specifically German European cars. Next, the battery is 42 kilowatt hours, which gives 300 kilometers CLTC. Consumption is 4 liters. Okay, friends, thank you for your attention. Thank you to everyone who watched until the end. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. See you again soon.